It's Christmas time, and believe it or not, Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. And it happens to also be the first movie I reviewed way back when I first started Heroic Review as a blog many years ago. I rewatched it, and now I'm going to re-review it. I'm sure you've seen the movie by now, but in case you haven't, this is going to be a spoiler review. Review the chapter times in the description, and you can skip to the topic that you're most interested in hearing me talk about. Iron Man 3 was released in May of 2014, and it was Iron Man's first appearance after his appearance in the first Avengers movie. It was directed by Shane Black instead of Jon Favreau, who did the first two movies. Black had previously worked with Downey on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and he was also a writer on some of the iconic Lethal Weapon movies. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow are back as Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. One of my favorite Iron Man villains from back in the day was the Mandarin, and we finally get full acknowledgement of that character, or so we thought, with Ben Kingsley's character. Back when I first reviewed the movie, I rated it a 6. I thought it was a great action movie, but I couldn't get over the treatment of some of my favorite characters in War Machine and the Mandarin. But I couldn't hate on Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, so I'm glad that I'm able to give it a new review with some fresh perspective. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark is, as always, perfect here. He's one of the best and most successful castings in a comic book movie ever, and he brought all of his snide quippiness that we've all known and loved him for. I thought that the PTSD subject that the movie touched on was a nice change of pace and a logical next step for the character after the events of the first Avengers movie. And I thought a lot of the armors that we saw throughout the movie were really dope. The ending would lead some people to believe that Tony Stark was retiring after this movie, but he definitely did not do that. You could also take the ending to mean that he's starting a new path along his Iron Man journey, and his appearances after this, he was using more of a nanotech than what he had been using. Him picking up the screwdriver at the end of the movie could signify this. Going into the movie this time already with the knowledge of the Mandarin Twist, and with them having made things right with the character already in Shang-Chi, I don't mind it as much. Trevor Slattery was super intimidating before the twist, and after he was kind of funny and added a little bit of levity to the movie. Some of the action in the movie was really cool. That scene with them trying to escape the mansion as it was blowing up was epic. Stark versus the extremist soldiers in the small town was a great and intense sequence, even though we don't get a full Iron Man armor in this one. I was glad that they brought in extremists. It was a storyline I have been looking forward to, and just seeing those extremist soldiers destroying all the armor just made them seem much more powerful. And I love Hulk and Bruce Banner, so I thought that post-credit scene here was really dope, just because it brought Stark and Banner together again. War Machine has always been one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I hated what they did to him in this movie. I didn't like the switch up to Iron Patriot. I didn't like that they never gave him an armor at the end when Tony had them flying all over the place. They allowed him to be defeated way too easily. I hated it. With new perspective, I'm glad that they didn't keep him in this form too long. They've allowed the character to shine plenty of times over the years since this, so I'm a little bit less bitter about what happened in Iron Man 3. I also really didn't like the treatment of the Iron Man armors here. They were always falling apart, running out of charge, being destroyed pretty easily. I get that they were trying to bring home the fact that Stark is Iron Man with or without the armor, but it just made everything seem like some malfunctioning junk. I liked the extremists in general, but I didn't really care for the Aldrich Killian character. We've seen that scorned nerd with bad hair gains confidence as an evil villain trope many times before, and I don't think it usually works out. I'm thinking of the Riddler from Batman and Robin here, or Electro. I also wasn't satisfied with his claim to be the real Mandarin. I know what you're thinking. That's all well and good, Derek, but Iron Man 3, a Christmas movie? Yes, my friend, it is. And I have the proof for you. Check it out. They play Jingle Bells less than 10 minutes into the start of the movie, and at least one other time later in the movie. There's numerous Christmas trees on display throughout the movie, and Christmas presents are spoken about in the dialogue. In the mansion that gets blown up, we see Christmas presents around too. It's a Christmas movie for sure. Accept it. So the only thing that's really changed about my opinion of the movie is that I don't fault it anymore for the Mandarin Twist. We get a great performance from Robert Downey Jr. and that's what really matters. I still hated Iron Patriot and the treatment of Rhodey, but there's just a little bit less bitterness on my end. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Let me know what you thought of Iron Man 3 in the comments. Like this video if you're enjoying my content, and subscribe so you don't miss my next one.